This presentation is about productivity. Productivity with big data and how to get the best out of your analytics. And I hope it's going to be some practical advice that we can all use. So what is big data? Well, you can see from the quote here from Gartner that we've known about big data since 2001. And we've taken the term, certainly in the IT business, to mean things to do with massive volumes of data. And the implication was that by using those massive volumes of data that we'd be able to do things in businesses that we'd never done before. So why is data important? Well, the world's changing, there's no doubt about that. And there is certainly more connectivity than ever before, even down to the detail of things like smart meters. They're even proposing to connect hair straighteners to the internet. And there's a lot more automation as well, through the automation of vehicles, which is now well underway. Matching this are consumer expectations. We, the consumers, expect that data about things is going to be available, that when we give feedback, it's going to be taken account of. And we've seen, especially in these difficult times, that small changes can have a big impact, either positively or negatively. And more than ever, we need to be able to react quickly to changing situations. And in order to do that, we need to have accurate data available at all times. So why do we use data? Well, simply we want to make better decisions. And in order to do that, the data that we want to use has to be up to date, curated and correct in order to make those better decisions. That allows us to make more efficient use of resources, and having the ability to predict rather than just look back on what has happened is key to driving process improvements. We need to standardize across all areas, and that's to reduce the time and effort that it takes to perform tasks and operations. And again, that will help us reduce costs. And building new capabilities and solutions means that when things do change, we can respond more quickly, or when regulations change, we can respond and be leaders across the field. So this led to the 3 V's. The volume, that's the amount of data. The velocity, that's the speed that we see it, process it, access it. And variety, the many different sources and types of data that there are. And that was how the big data challenge was presented 20 years ago. Those 3 things were the things that we had to tackle in order to make a successful use of these large amounts of data. But actually, as soon as we started tackling these 3, the 3 V's became 5 V's. First of all, we found that we had to ensure the veracity, that is the integrity of the data, that when we put all this data together, try to analyze it, pick out different aspects of it, that the whole thing made sense. And then became the much more important question, which in a way should have been the question that was asked first. If we're going to do all these things, what value are we going to get from the data? In other words, what can we actually do with it? So how does this work in practice? Well, there are 3 aspects that have to be considered. The first one is integration. So you have to bring the data together. And also you have to consider how much is that going to cost to do it. Moving data, for example, is still very expensive. In order to manage consistently, you have to make sure that these automated processes are consistently gathering together correct data which you can add value to. The third aspect is analysis itself. We want to be able to apply the latest techniques of data science and analysis and BI in order to add value to the data. But the first thing that we have to do is to pick a business case that adds value, and that will always be the most important aspect of this. It is absolutely vital that these projects go after something where there is a potential to add value to the business. The majority of big data projects fail because they don't go through this process first of all. The next thing to consider then is technically, how are we going to do this? Over the last 5 years, there have been enormous advances in the type and range of solutions that are available to technically deal with big data. These are the key aspects that you will have to consider when looking for a data platform. Advances over the last 5 years means that in all of these areas, there is the opportunity to pick the best of breed. You are not going to find all of these things in one monolithic product. But there are opportunities in each of these areas to go for high performance, low cost, and ease of use. The creation of this data platform is all to do with making data capabilities that deliver value to the business. And in the center, that starts with the right data, which gives you the right insight to make the right decisions. And from that core of capabilities, 3 things are going to happen. You're going to be faster, better, lower cost, and lower risk in the decisions that you make. If you look at where these functional data capabilities have to be centered, you can see from the blue line that there are basically these fundamental things that you have to get right. It's security, it's intelligence, it's science, and it's storage. All those things have to work. Once you have those functional data capabilities in place, then all the other things that sit around them, the supporting systems, external systems that you might want to integrate the data of, your data sources from your IoT systems and other corporate business applications can all be pulled together because you have a variety of users who want to use this platform. You have your end users, your standard data maintenance personnel, but also your development team. But you have to have these core capabilities absolutely nailed down, coordinated in place before that picture is going to work. So, what are the data challenges? So, if you haven't started your big data journey yet, no problem. You have the benefit of hindsight. Over the last 20 years, you will certainly have seen people get it wrong. The old idea of one size fits all and a data lake strategy has proven to be completely wrong. But fortunately, new technologies have bridged that gap. Lack of collaboration. Well, you're not alone in that. All sectors are facing this challenge, but the more that businesses think about data as an asset and the fact that you can monetize your information is gradually going to overcome that. And lack of skills. This is a key one. With the development of newer technologies, the skills that are required are becoming much more ubiquitous. And by that I mean that you don't need to have teams of people who are just technical data scientists on your staff. The new tools that have been produced are easy to learn, and it is possible for business people to acquire the skills to use these tools. Now, this means that business people must rise to the challenge and equip themselves to use these new tools. This is absolutely vital because no matter how good data scientists may be, they are not from your business. They will never share the same business objectives as the people who are involved in the life of the business. They simply do not do that. So, what are the final thoughts on this? So to the elephant in the room. Big data always means big money. No matter to what degree you get involved in it, big data is going to cost a fortune. Well, not anymore. Low entry cost now means that there's a much faster time to value or to fail early, which is important because that can save you money. This is backed by improved and predictable scalability on newer, faster data technologies. And smaller, more niche providers create more value faster than some of the larger companies that used to dominate this space. For example, with a hybrid cloud now, which can be a combination of on-premise and public cloud, it allows for the best of both worlds in cost and capability. You can be on-premise, you can be in the cloud, and you can vary the degree to which you do both as much as you want to in a very flexible way. I think it's important to notice how fast things are changing in terms of costs. So in 2007, a 3 terabyte SAN cost you 300k. Now in 2020, 5 terabytes of cloud storage on iDrive cost you less than $4 a year. That's how much things are changing. So I'd like to leave you with these key takeaways about big data. You have to align big data with specific business goals. Big data projects can start small. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You do not have to put all the data in the world on the data platform before you begin to add value. You still have to identify in your business who the data champions are going to be. And these are business people, people who understand the business and the processes. And they need to run the big data projects. They need to hold the objectives of those projects, and they need to see that the projects are steered towards them, not towards some kind of technical IT achievement. Business people will have to use IT technology. They cannot avoid it or put it out to IT to do. They have to step up to the challenge and get to grips with these IT tools themselves, and they can do it. And finally, you have to take advantage of new technologies. They are out there and they deal with specific aspects of the data challenge. As I say, you're not going to find all the technical things that you need in any one particular product. You're going to have to look for those capabilities in all different types of places, but those capabilities are out there. Thank you. That concludes my talk for today.